Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for continuing your learning journey with the Copilot Control System team. In this session, we're going to talk about measuring the usage and the impact of Copilot and agents. To measure and drive meaningful adoption, you need to be able to track what matters. In this session, we're going to be exploring how Copilot Analytics helps IT admins, adoption specialists, and business leaders to track usage, adoption, and impact. Additionally, you'll see the latest product experiences and learn how to turn insights into action to maximize the value of your AI investments. I'm excited to welcome our two speakers today, Mike Walsh, an analytics lead focused on AI adoption measurement, metrics, and reporting, and Sam Warburudi, product marketing manager focused on Copilot and agent management and measurement in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Over to you, Mike and Sammer.
Okay. All right. I'm excited to be here. Hey, everybody. My name is Mike Walsh. I'm a director in product marketing focused on Copilot Analytics and really focused on a couple of our big surfaces here. And I'm excited to walk you all through today some of the things we have around measuring AI and agents with my colleague Sammer here. So the flow of the show today is basically we're going to give you a little overview of our approach to measuring AI and agents here at Microsoft. And then we'll walk you through a demo of the main surface areas and the reports that are available now to help you understand and track usage and productivity and ultimately ROI. And at the end, we'll follow with some AMA and some answering your questions. So with that, let's get started. So hopefully by now you've attended some of the other sessions. You might be familiar with our Copilot Control System, but this is our concept here at Microsoft to empower IT professionals with all the tools that they need to measure AI and agents across their organization. And so there's three key pillars around the control system. One's around security, the other is around management, and the last one, our favorite, is around measurement. So that's what we'll be diving in today to walk you through in more detail. Now, often when we speak with our customers, we're seeing them go through an AI adoption journey. And that journey kind of takes the form, as time grows, the sophistication level grows. And so early on in the journey, we're seeing folks really concentrate and wanting to understand individual productivity and how AI and Copilot are really helping employees be more efficient in their day-to-day. And I'd say the vast majority of customers are actually in this stage of the game. So AI is still very new, and we're still trying to understand, what are the best ways to apply it within for an individual as well as within a team. And so a lot of companies are still looking at individual productivity gains and time savings. Moving up the ladder here as customers get more sophisticated, well, now and using AI for more specific use cases or scenarios within a team or a function. Now they're looking at how can AI help me drive productivity across the team or improve collaboration? And then finally, at the very end of the journey, we're seeing customers really want to understand how is AI unlocking ROI and business value and really changing the way we do our business processes across the organization. So one of the things that we've seen actually is that customers who are using Copilot Analytics are seeing faster ROI. So a phrase that gets one of my favorite business phrases is what gets measured gets managed, and we're seeing that take effect with AI. So customers are actively trying to understand the impact of AI within their teams, are seeing faster rates of adoption, better usage rates, and ultimately more impact across their business. And that really brings us to this concept of Copilot Analytics. And what that means is really our capabilities to help customers measure the impact of Copilot and agents on their business. And now, so Copilot Analytics is composed of a couple different services, but you can think of that these services really focused on three big areas. One's really around readiness and adoption. So am I, as an organization, using Copilot or agents as effectively and efficiently as possible. And so a lot of these reports are geared more towards an operational perspective, and that's focused on those reports can be found in our admin centers. The next set of reports are really focused on understanding how is AI changing work patterns and unlocking productivity. And these reports can be found within our Copilot dashboard. And then lastly, customers are really wanting to understand, what is the ROI of AI, and how is this driving actual ultimate business value for my organization? And customers want to be able to customize these reports. These reports can be found within Viva Insights, which is now included with the Microsoft 365 Copilot license. So the ability to unlock and customize reporting using Copilot and agent data is now available through Viva Insights with that Copilot license. So we'll walk you through all those reports here in just a few minutes. Now, just taking a step back, kind of want to show you conceptually how Copilot Analytics and measurement for AI work and the tools that we offer here at Microsoft. So, kind of simply put, we've put this reporting stack together already so that customers don't have to do this themselves. They can do that. You can export this information and build your own reports offline in the tools that you want. But we've already done a lot of the heavy lifting and processing and cleaning to pull these reports and these visualizations for you together. So, kind of starting from the bottom and working our way up, we've built all of these reports within the Microsoft Security Trust Boundary so that data is secure and private and compliant with the Microsoft standards. Secondly, we've already brought in the relevant data sets to do this analysis. So, of course, you're going to find Copilot and agent usage data within Copilot Analytics, but you're also going to have the ability to upload your own organizational data with your organizational attributes to see how the data reflects the way reflects your organization. And we've also have Microsoft 365 graph data to see what's the impact on maybe time spent on meetings or document creation. And that thing on the right there, that third-party business data, this is an important thing for really understanding ROI and business value. So we know that a lot of your business value metrics are going to be found in systems outside of Microsoft. These may be like sales data found in a CRM system like Salesforce, or financial data found in ERP systems like an SAP or an Oracle, or even HR data found in a Workday. So with Insights, you can upload your own business data, and we'll get into that in a few minutes too, and see how usage of AI is impacting those metrics. So all this data is basically then kind of formatted and cleaned and processed, and then put in a couple of different visualizations that can be found within the dashboard or the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, or even the Power Platform Admin Center. So that's just a quick kind of scaffolding of how our reporting stack works for you. And so digging into a couple of those three value props for Copilot Analytics around readiness and adoption, you can understand how many people are using your Copilot license, what's the activation groups, status by groups. We know that understanding agent usage and billing and controlling cost of those agents is incredibly important. So Samer's going to walk us through the tools available for that. And ultimately, you want to understand, are people using these tools most effectively, and what's the adoption look like over time? So we have those trends available. A quick example of that would be a customer of ours, Wallenius and Williamson. They wanted to really, as they were kicking off their Copilot journey, they really wanted to understand, what's some early wins to drive further success. So with Copilot Analytics, they were able to understand, which teams were using it, what were the features that people were loving to further enable their employees with the right learning tools and adoption campaigns. And ultimately, they were able to achieve a 77% rollout of Copilot within their first 30 days. So a great way of demonstrating, right? How if you're measuring, if you have intent and the tools to measure the impact of AI, you're going to see the results through. Secondly is around productivity impact. So within the Copilot dashboard, you can start to explore and understand how employees are using Copilot agents to save time and work smarter across all of those Microsoft 365 apps. You'll be able to see how workplace patterns and collaborations patterns are shifting with AI. And ultimately, I'll even walk you through some of the employee feedback and sentiment tools that are available, because getting that employee feedback perspective into this overall like usage really helps round out a good view of AI. So another customer of ours, Campari, wanted to see what this impact was and how was it driving more efficiencies within some of their functions. And particularly they wanted to look at within their marketing function, how they wanted to eliminate some of the more mundane tasks and give time back for employees to be more productive and creative, and really focus on the things that their marketing team was great at. And so with Copilot Analytics and some of the sentiment tools that we had out there, they were seeing that they were able to work faster and also report higher levels of productivity and work quality with the use of Copilot. And then ultimately, customers want to understand ROI, and what's the ROI of this investment in AI, and how can I start seeing bottom line results? We have reports that I'll walk you through that do this for Copilot and agents. And so with the ability to look at your business data against Copilot and agent usage, you can start to see what the impact is of that AI usage on those business impacts. And as an example of this one, we actually worked with our sales team here at Microsoft, and they actually influenced the design of these reports that we'll show you today that are available for our customers. So our sales team really wanted to understand, amongst the sellers that are high users of Copilot and lower users of Copilot, what was the ultimate impact of Copilot usage on some key sales performance indicators. And ultimately, what they found by comparing, those high usage groups versus those low usage groups, they were able to see that, higher users of Copilot, higher level users of Copilot were getting, a 5% increase in sales opportunities, 9.4% higher revenue per seller in one business unit, and a 20% increase in close rates amongst those high users of Copilot. So these were phenomenal metrics, of course, that our head of sales and was fanatic about and really excited to see. And so this has further just introduced, more opportunities to bring better training to our sellers on how to use Copilot to ultimately help them achieve and hit their goals, which help the company in return. So a great source of ROI there too. And now one last slide before we jump into the demo portion here. You can kind of think about the measurement tools that we have in two big buckets. One's are really around AI strategy. And so for leaders who are trying to understand what are the opportunities of AI, how is this impacting the bottom line and driving productivity, there are tools available within the Copilot dashboard and Viva Insights to help you understand that. And then on the second side, there are a set of reports that are more geared for AI operations. And these reports can be found within our admin centers, like the Microsoft 365 Admin Center or the Power Platform Admin Center. And Sam will walk you through that. But these really help IT professionals manage AI manage and deploy AI in the most effective way possibly through better decision making around licensing and ultimately deploying and managing agents across your organization. Okay, so that was a good, hopefully, intro on how we're approaching analytics for y'all. And with that, let's jump into a demo. Okay, first I will walk you all through the Copilot dashboard and Viva Insights, and then Samara will walk us through those AI operations focused reports within our admin centers. Okay, so here we have the Microsoft Copilot dashboard, and right now I'm on the Readiness tab. And the Readiness tab gives customers a sense of the potential for AI, the potential for AI across your business, and it's looking at how many employees are using current Microsoft apps, and what that usage looks like, because that can ultimately can be impacted better by Copilot. Now, clicking here over on the adoption tab, this is where I think really between the adoption and the impact tab of the dashboard, this is really when these are the most popular parts of the dashboard. So this is really driving into like, how are people using the tool? So right away, we can see the number of Copilot licensed employees and the active Copilot users amongst that group. We can see how that usage is trending over time, as well as which groups are using it. Kind of digging further down, you ultimately want to see like, okay, well, how are people using this? So now within the Microsoft apps, I can see how people are using Copilot in this example within Teams. So are people, how different groups are using Copilot within Teams to do things like summarize meetings or chats or rewrite messages, or doing their own business chat searches within Teams itself. Again, we are continuously updating kind of the double click categories of these actions, but these give customers a great insight into what is it that people are actually using these tools for to be more effective and be more productive. So kind of scrolling back up to the top, another thing that we've introduced is this concept of usage intensity. So our customers are really interested in okay, cool, now you've shown me the number of actions people have taken with Copilot, but I also want to know how intensely are they actually using Copilot, how many actions are they taking, and how consistently are they coming back. So this is a little newer review to look at within different groups, what's that AI usage intensity look like, and which teams are really diving in to the use of AI to get their work done. Now, kind of scrolling back out and popping over to this impact tab, this is where we start to see how AI is impacting productivity. And so at the top here, we have the number of Copilot actions taken, and you can see how that trend line increases over time. And at the same time, on the right-hand side, we have this concept of Copilot assisted hours. So translating those actions into a time savings that our data science teams have found through research. It estimates that each action is about 6 minutes per action. And soon we'll be offering more flexibility around there. So that's a little teaser of what's to come. But within this Copilot assisted hours frame, you can see how those actions that employees are taking within Copilot are driving time savings. So you can start to see that this is the time kind of given back to employees to do more higher level tasks. And you can even toggle this time savings estimate into a dollar value based on an average hourly rate. That's also customizable within the tool to get a sense of how many, what would be the dollar value of those hours saved. So as we scroll down now, we can also start to see how is Copilot impacting things like meetings, and are people in less meetings? Are they in more meetings? Are they creating more documents with the use of AI? So again, this is how AI is impacting the way people work and ultimately be productive. And lastly, at the very bottom here, we have employee feedback results that are being brought in through either Pulse or Glint or surveys of your own. So we have a framework here of a couple different survey questions to get employee feedback on how is Copilot making them more productive, producing higher quality work outputs, ultimately doing things faster. And so here you get a good sense of how employees are reacting and what their perspective is when it comes to the impact of AI on their work. All right, so I think that's a lot of stuff there. I'm going to drive over to the report section here. And so there's a lot more in the dashboard there, but we also have more. And actually, what I'm showing you right now is a new look to the Copilot dashboard and Viva Insights that's rolling out this month. It's now in preview. It'll be rolling out throughout this month and next month to our customers. And what it's doing is actually bringing in the Copilot dashboard alongside these customizable reports within Viva Insights into one surface to make it easier to find specific reports related to Copilot. And so right now in this reports tab, which I've just toggled into, this is a collection basically of reports that have been published to me that I have access to further explore the uses of how Copilot is impacting, or agents are impacting my business. And so in this view, it's kind of like a report library. I can see that here are some of the reports that analysts have created to further look at the use of AI. So in this case, I'm going to actually click on the Copilot Business Impact Report. And now this report is actually a pre-built report that we've already that's already available to customers. And there are several pre-built reports within Viva Insights in this kind of advanced reporting section that customers can use and tailor and modify as they need. But you can also create your own custom reports and publish to that reports page, which I just showed. But kind of coming back to this business impact report for Copilot. Think back to that sales story I talked about with Microsoft and how we were looking at the impact of Copilot and sales KPIs. So in this example, I've already uploaded sales KPIs from a CRM system related to these business outcome metrics that you can see in the middle for win rate, deals created, and deals won. And what this is doing now is actually correlating and looking at the impact of high usage of Copilot versus low usage of Copilot, and what is the impact on those metrics. So in this example, I can see that sellers who are using Copilot more effectively than others are seeing higher win rates at 55%, and then it drops all the way down to 13%. And a similar story plays out for those other metrics. I can also see how these, what the trends look like when it comes to the usage of Copilot on those business metrics to see if those trends are holding steady. They might be dropping. If they're dropping, that might be a big sign to, okay, let's go in and investigate why, and maybe create some more training or campaigns to drive awareness on the right behaviors we want to ultimately drive the right business outcomes. And now looking kind of on the right here, another thing that we've heard is that customers, it's great once you see what the impact is on your business KPIs, but then the next question is, well, what are these, people who are crushing their goals and their KPIs? What are they doing to actually to hit those goals? So this gives you a sense on the right here, a sense of, what are those top features that sellers are using to hit their goals. So in this example, on the kind of chart in the middle here, I can look at, of those sellers who are doing great when it comes to a high monthly win rate, how are they using Copilot? Well, they're using Copilot to interact with and get and chat, and they're getting answers back, probably Q&A responses there. The next big use case is around drafting emails faster, summarizing meetings, and ultimately generating drafts. So these are some of the ways that our teams and customers are using. These are some of the insights they're using to drive further enablement efforts to bring all of their employees up to hit those business goals. Now, this example is important to note. This was a sales example, but you could have also put in business data, let's say for a IT ticketing system or something, where you could look at maybe like ticket resolution rates, net promoter satisfaction scores, or ultimately like resolution times, to see if, again, high AI usage is driving better KPIs. Again, this report can be customized for any function and for any of your KPIs. So kind of looking at agents now, this is a new report that's out in preview now, and this is available to look at the impact and adoption of Copilot Studio agents. So of the agents that you've created within Copilot Studio, I want to get a quick view of what's happening here. And so within this summary view, you can start to look at, okay, here's the number of people using agents. Here's how many agents we have out there, the satisfaction scores associated overall with those agents, and what those, how those agents are being used across the business. I can dig in further to start to see kind of side-by-side comparisons of my agents now. how they're performing. So in this example, I'm looking at, there's an IT support agent, there's a compliance agent, invoice agents, and it's sorted now by average monthly active users. So at the top, I can see that IT support agent that we're using is the most popular one, and it's generating almost 4,800 engaged sessions each month with a 3.8 out of 5 satisfaction score and a 70% resolution rate. But we can go further into this actual agent also to understand what is the ultimate business impact of this agent. And so by kind of clicking and viewing details, I can now also start to see that this agent, has a 73% success rate in resolving questions asked to it. You can see the satisfaction scores and the estimated agent assisted hours there, and how much time this agent has saved for your business. And on the right-hand side, we can see the business impact. So similar to the Copilot Business Impact Report that we just looked at, this gives you the ability to bring in your own KPI data and see how agent usage is impacting those KPIs. So in this example, we're seeing how that IT support agent usage has gone up in that purple line, and it's reduced the number of tickets created correspondingly by 20% in that green line. Again, a great way to look at like how this is just driving ultimate ROI and impact. All right, I'm going to pass it over now to Samer. That was a really quick review, but I'm glad I got through that all. And we have a lot more to show you too with some of our operation focused reports here.
Thank you so much, Mike. Hey, everyone. It's great to be with you. So you just saw a bunch around the investments that we're making to help you and our customers drive AI strategy decisions across productivity and ROI and impact, and how your users are leveraging M365 Copilot and agents to drive the business forward. And so really great to see that kind of level of investment. Now to shift gears, we're going to talk a bit more from the perspective of your IT and operations folks. So we are also in parallel making a ton of investment into admin surfaces, namely the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and Power Platform Admin Center, to really maximize the value of your investments from an IT perspective by way of license utilization and assigning licenses optimally to the right users, and ensuring that users are in fact using their licenses. And then when it comes to agents, helping you and to sort of informing you on the information you need to make agent management decisions, which agents are being used, and where are the costs associated with that agent usage and consumption. So anyway, with that introduction, let's dive into the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So first thing you'll notice is in the Copilot control system within the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, the Copilot node, as we call it, in the left navigation, you'll see an overview section. And in this overview section, we're surfacing 4 key metrics, what we're calling keys to success with Microsoft 365 Copilot. So the first one, at a basic level, the first one I'll say is the active user rate. At a basic level, are people using the licenses that they've been assigned? For everyone in your organization who's been enabled with an M365 Copilot license, how many of them, what percentage of them are actively using it or have actively used it in the past period? Now, we can click on to see below the fold, below each metric, you'll see accompanying supporting metrics. So in the case of the active user rate metric, we could see kind of a more detailed view of the adoption by app. So total enabled users, the active user rate, and enabled and active users per app. So Copilot usage on a per M365 app basis. So let's click on to the next slide if we can. You can click it. So this overview section also serves as sort of a navigational guide to the kind of the deeper dive reports for each of those key metrics. So when we click on the under the card for the active user rate, license utilization, we can click into the usage reports, namely in this case, the Copilot usage report. When we click into the Copilot usage report, you'll see two sections up top: license planning. Currently in product, it's labeled readiness. You'll soon see that it's updated to more accurately reflect the purpose of this section of the usage report, which is license planning. Here in the license planning section, you'll see things like technical eligibility, how many Copilot Chat users that are actively using Copilot Chat that are unlicensed for Microsoft 365 Copilot. How many license requests are we seeing? How many users are on an eligible update channel, namely the current channel or the monthly enterprise update channel? We can track our Copilot licenses here, and then we can scroll down and see at a user level, what are the right signals to help us determine who in the organization we should prioritize for M365 Copilot licenses. So at the user level, whether or not they have a license assigned, are they a suggested candidate for Copilot? And this is a research-backed approach we've taken to identify and help it and suggest users who are in the strongest position to get the most value out of M365 Copilot licenses and their use. And again, the key kind of criteria that you need to inform license assignment decisions at the user level. These, of course, are anonymized by default to protect user privacy. And depending on your privacy policy in your organization, you can a global admin can come in and de-anonymize or turn off the setting that conceals the username. Anyway, so moving on. So we have a bit on license planning. Now, if we cut over to the usage tab in the Copilot usage report, the M365 Copilot usage report, you'll see the full kind of scope of what we're providing here, which is total enabled and active users, the active user rate, enabled and active users of M365 Copilot per app, whether that's in Teams or Outlook or PowerPoint, and the list goes on as Copilot, M365 Copilot, continues to proliferate across your productivity suites. And then, of course, the usage of M365 Copilot Chat by licensed users, segmentation by work and web grounding, to give you insights into how people are using M365 Copilot Chat. And then down below the fold, as with all of our usage reports, user level details and specifically last activity dates in total, or I should say all up for M365 Copilot, Copilot Chat, and the respective app experiences. Now, moving on, we'll go over to the Copilot Chat usage report. So for users who are not licensed with M365 Copilot yet, we want to give you visibility into Copilot Chat usage across the organization. Total active users, average daily active users, and adoption of Copilot Chat by app entry point, whether that's M365 Copilot app, Edge, Teams, Outlook, and the Copilot experiences on the web. You can see here that we can toggle over. We can see summary view, and if we click over to the trend toggle, we can see how Copilot Chat usage per app entry point is changing over time. This just informs kind of our licensing strategy decisions. So we can see an uptick in usage of M365 Copilot Chat by unlicensed users. It helps us understand what is that rate of adoption and can inform decisions around license assignment. We'll soon also be bringing, you'll see on the right side here, total prompts submitted. And then as we move on to the agents usage report, we're looking at a Q3 release, calendar Q3 release timeframe for a standalone agents usage report covering agent usage by both licensed and unlicensed M365 Copilot users. You'll see today in your tenant in the Copilot usage report, agent usage scoped only to M365 Copilot users. So, and that's agent usage within M365 Copilot. Like I mentioned, we'll soon be bringing in a standalone agents report scope to all users in the organization with segmentation by the publishing party. So whether that's user created agents built by your organization, agents built by Microsoft, or agents built by Microsoft partners, third party agents. Below the fold, agent usage details at the user level, the agent level, and the user-agent pair level. We can actually click through to see those tabs in the detail views for these. So for agents, we want to see active users, active licensed users, unlicensed users, total responses sent to users on a per agent basis. What's the volume of usage on a per agent basis, helping us to inform agent management decisions. And then if we continue to click on, if we really want to dive deep and understand at the user agent pair level, what are the most active users, users of given agents. So really fine-grained detail into agent usage. Now, let's click over and take a look at our final report. Like I mentioned, the agents report is coming to you in Q3. What is available today in public preview is the message consumption report. Now, this is a key one because as organizations are turning on the pay-as-you-go model for agent usage in Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, the question quickly emerges, how do we have a sort of insight and how do we have a handle on the consumption, the metered consumption of agent usage in our organizations? So that's exactly the intended purpose of the message consumption report. At the top level, we see total messages consumed in your organization, total metered messages, anything that's spinning the Copilot Studio metered, I should say the pay-as-you-go consumption dial is contributing, is in scope for this report. And we're seeing a cumulative and daily trend view. And then below the fold, we have message consumption details at the user level, agent level, and you're seeing here in the demo the billing policy level, which is coming soon. But today we do show the user level, agent level, and user and agent pair level. So if we want to get into stack ranking our agents by message consumption or understanding which users are the most active users of agents in the organization, if privacy policy permits us to view that information, we can totally do that. And it's a useful and practical information, actionable information that you can take when it comes to agent adoption and agent management decisions in M365 Admin Center, which we learned a bit about this morning with James Bell and Ganesh. So with that, that covers the usage reports in M365 Admin Center, both available in preview and forthcoming. Now, if we move on, let's take a look. If we can advance the slide a couple more times, if you would, that'll take us over to. So we talked about billing policies, user agent pair. Now, let's go ahead and move on to. Where are we? Bear with me for 1 sec. Okay. Now back over to the overview page. We talked a bunch about usage reports. Now, the AI adoption score became available to all customers worldwide, general availability, just about a couple months ago. Now, if you're looking for a single metric to understand what's our overall adoption of M365 Copilot? How do we distill that into a single number to help us understand what's our overall adoption health with M365 Copilot and AI in our organization? That's the purpose of the AI adoption score. I'll put it really simply. It measures the extent to which people in your organization who are assigned M365 Copilot licenses have reached a certain threshold. That threshold is an average of 3 days of usage per week. So if a user uses Copilot on average 3 days a week, they've reached a threshold. And the research suggests and tells us actually that the overwhelming majority of people who reach that threshold become retained users. They come back month over month and use it with a similar or greater usage intensity and usage frequency. So our collective goal, ours and yours, is to help our users reach that sort of retention threshold or conversion threshold. And this is measuring the extent to which your organization at the tenant level is reaching that threshold. The details of how the score and the methodology is calculated is available in the documentation. Let's take a closer look at the AI adoption score report. So we drill down and we see our time series showing us how our score is trending over time and how we're comparing against similar organizations of a similar size, and geography, and industry. We also have accompanying metrics helping us understand Copilot usage frequency. What's the breakdown? Given that the AI adoption score is really all about the usage frequency, what's that usage frequency distribution in our organization? We have details on feature level usage. So we can see at the feature level the total active users compared to the total enabled users at the feature level. And this informs adoption strategy decisions. If we see that a given feature or feature area is underutilized in our organization, we can take that as a signal to say, hey, let's do some education about Copilot and how it can really supercharge your how you navigate email and email communications every day, or how it can supercharge your your creativity and inspiration when you're developing content and documents, whether it's Word or PowerPoint and all the rest. So that's a bit on the AI adoption score report. Now we can see, we'll scroll down, we have additional insights, we have visibility into agent usage and so on. So let's shift gears a bit. We covered so scratch the surface around Copilot Analytics reporting the M365 Admin Center. Now moving over to the Power Platform Admin Center. Now this is where folks in IT who are looking after your Power Platform environments and agent management, we can get a bit more granular visibility into agent usage, agent adoption, and some of the key metrics around our agents. So let's take a closer look. So here in the Power Platform Admin Center, we get a deeper dive into agents across the organization, giving us a central view into the custom agents built using Copilot Studio, including agents published to external users. Power Platform admins need oversight into how their agents are performing, how much of the meter or prepaid capacity agents have consumed, and what are the success rates for those agents that their makers are developing in the organization. So with this report, admins can see top agents and their usage over time. They can see build messages and prepaid capacity usage by agents. Clicking on, we can see agent session success rate. And also here in the Power Platform Admin Center, they can also, your admins can drill into individual agents to see specific usage by agent. So this was a very brief and quick tour of some of the capabilities that we've invested in and delivered and continue to invest in admin services like the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and Power Platform Admin Center. So with that, we'll take the balance of our time to talk briefly about resources, next steps, and open it up to Q&A. We'll flash a quick slide here, and we'll drop these links in the chat. Or I'm sorry, I should say in the comment thread. Encourage you to take a look at the Copilot dashboard that Mike shared with us earlier. Really powerful way to inform AI strategy decisions in your organization, Copilot and agent strategy decisions. Copilot Control System in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and a kind of a centralized place on Microsoft Learn to learn more about Copilot Analytics. So learn articles for Copilot Analytics for you. With that, we'll open it up to questions. If I can pass it back over to you, Efe.
Awesome. Thank you, Samer and Mike. Really appreciate the insights into Copilot Analytics and measurement. We have a few questions here from the audience. We'll start off with the first one, which is, how can we use Copilot Analytics to identify underutilized licenses or agents and reallocate them to drive greater ROI?
I'll take that one. That's a great question. Yeah. So we hear this often with folks in IT and operations. They're looking to maximize the value of their licenses, and so Part of that is an active effort of identifying, as the question suggests and says, is identifying those underutilized licenses. So in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, within the Copilot usage report, as I mentioned, and we showed you a minute ago, in the sort of detail view, the user kind of line level user details, we can see last activity date for Copilot all up for a given licensed user. If that last activity date, you can export that information, maybe sort of sort or stack rank those, I should say sort those lines, those users, or those licenses by last activity. Those licenses that might exceed a given kind of threshold, we can look at first adoption efforts and hopefully inform and educate and inspire those users on the value and benefits of using Copilot and increase the adoption there. But if ultimately that user is no longer using that license and you want to reapply it, that's the way to do it. So long story short, M365 Admin Center, the Copilot usage report is a really effective way of doing that. As for agents, I think underutilized agents is something that we're looking at and constantly kind of the agent space is new and interesting and so dynamic. We saw in a session earlier today, Ganesh showed us how we're bringing agent management and your agent inventory into the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and in Copilot under agents and connectors. The message consumption report that I shared with you here just a bit ago, also looking at your agents and sorting them or stack ranking them by messages consumed or the number of responses sent to users. That's going to be an effective way of identifying underutilized agents and then in turn informing decisions around whether you want to continue making that agent available or revisit that agent and say, hey, how can we improve the quality or improve the experience for users?
Thanks, Samer. Appreciate that. Next question. What's the best way to integrate our own business KPIs like sales velocity or support ticket volume into Copilot Analytics for a more tailored view?
Yeah, I can take that one. That was, we kind of touched upon that with that Copilot Business Impact Report or the Copilot Studio Agent Report within Viva Insights. So that's that place, that's the surface where you have the ability to upload your KPI data from your systems into those reports to then, again, correlate usage to your KPIs. We have more information we can share into how to do that. It's basically like a CSV upload. There's also an Azure Blob Store method too as well. Most folks are using the CSV upload for now. And we can follow up with more information on recommended KPIs. So we have additional documentation available that kind of looks at some of the top functions within an organization and the recommended KPIs that we've seen be used for understanding ROI of AI and how is it impacting functional and business success. There you go.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike. Next one that's come in. What are some future innovations you're thinking of when it comes to measuring AI?
I can go first.
Sure.
Let's see. So there's a lot that we're thinking of. There's definitely, it's a very hot space, very excited. I'm very lucky and grateful to be in this measurement of AI space right now. I think there's going to be a lot more coming when it comes to unifying the way we look at different metrics and different types of agents into one single view. We know this is a big ask, and so lots of work is underway, kind of unify how an organization, how a customer can look at any agent that they're using in their business in one place to compare usage, understand impact in one kind of single pane. So that's some big work that we're doing. There's more work to be done, and it's coming soon around, how can you, as a customers want to understand where they stand when it comes to AI adoption. And so this idea of benchmarking is also a big thing that we're exploring. There's a lot of, I think, like I said, we're kind of early days. I feel like still early inning somewhat in AI. So as more data comes in and more usage trends become available, it'll be easier for us to demonstrate and show how your usage as a company of AI relates to others. Is it up or down? Where you stand? So benchmarking is another big concept that we'll be looking at the rest of this calendar year in the upcoming months to pull forward. And then more on free Copilot Chat usage and adoption, and giving folks a sense of how are employees using this version of Copilot Chat to get their work done. Those are kind of three big areas that you can look forward to in the not too distant future.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Mike.
Yeah, I think maybe one more thing on that too is just ROI overall is a concept that we know is super important, and a lot of customers are customizing this on their own. It's very each customer has their own way of looking at their business and how they describe their business and ultimately how they measure their business. So we're working with customers to understand how they're doing it, but also trying to provide the tools to help customers do this analysis themselves too. So any feedback there, we would love to take in.
Yeah, and I think Mike, you summed it up really well. I mean, unification, benchmarking, and ROI. Those are the sort of the through lines in the customer conversations that we're having, and so we're continuing to invest in all those areas.
Awesome. Thanks, Booth. Next question we have is, what is the role of employee feedback when it comes to measuring AI?
Yeah, I think, we talked about some of the tools that are available within the dashboard, bringing in more, Pulse or Glint or even your own survey data into the dashboard to look at, how employees feeling about AI alongside the actual usage. That really helps to get that full view. I think, as we talk with customers, a lot of customers are doing their own surveys on the side to really understand, hey, is this valuable? Is this useful? How are you using it? What are you doing with your time savings? We have opportunities to bring more of that also into our system. So I think it's an incredibly useful part of measuring the success of AI, because ultimately this is a tool to help employees really be more productive and get empowered, to focus more on the more impactful parts of their business day than kind of the lesser value add stuff. So it's really important to get that employee feedback earlier on. Sam, maybe there's anything to add there, maybe on the.
No, I think you summed it up nicely, Mike. Yeah.
Awesome. And we have one final question to round us out here, and that is, how can we track the cost of agent usage in M365 Copilot Chat?
Yeah, I can take this one. So, back in January, we made a big splash about the broad availability of Copilot Chat and the agent usage on a metered consumption basis. That's the direction we're taking it, and so it really does elicit the question from all of our customers: how do we manage the costs associated with agent usage? If we are to turn on agent creation and usage in Copilot Chat for all of our users, creating agents in Agent Builder, using agents, whether they're Microsoft built, user built and shared, IT built, or third party, how do we track the costs associated with those? So our couple things. The message consumption report that I shared earlier is now available in public preview to commercial customers worldwide, giving you visibility into total message consumption, cumulative and daily trends, and the detailed views of metered message consumption in M365 Copilot Chat, metered agent usage and message consumption in M365 Copilot Chat, with detailed views, as we saw, into user level, agent level, and user agent pair level. So it's imperative that we bring that level of detail to help you track those costs. We'll continue to invest in those reports, and then we'll also be surfacing those costs and usage insights into the agents management experiences in the M365 Admin Center. So when you look at agent usage, when you drill into a given billing policy, you want to see what are the agent, what's the agent usage and cost for that billing policy. And then we also hear a lot of how do we sort of manage and control that spending. And so something you might have seen earlier this morning was what we're planning to release in July around budget and spending limits. So I know I'm extending the question beyond tracking the cost, but also, managing and containing those costs is a key issue for our customers. And so setting a budget and spending limit at the billing policy level or intro group level or department level is really key. And then being able to apply sort of soft limits or hard limits. Soft limits which would notify defined users, typically AI admins, as you're approaching those thresholds, whether it's 50, 70, or 90% of your allotted budget per billing policy, or hard spending limits, which says when we approach that threshold or we reach that given threshold, we want to do a automatic suspension of the service so that we're no longer incurring costs. So that's a bit on tracking costs, and then in turn applying budget and spending limits based on your organizational resources and allocation towards agents.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Well, Thamer, Mike, always a pleasure. Thank you for the exploration into how data and Copilot Analytics can help us drive smarter decisions and demonstrate the value and ROI of AI. Appreciate your time, and thank you again for the insights.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Bye, all.